What if the greatest threat to your power isn't your enemy, but the people you willingly let inside your home? Today, we will reveal how visitors, friends, relatives, neighbors, are quietly destroying your focus, your privacy, and your authority, and how you can stop it before it ruins your life. Visitors do not simply enter your home, they enter your private world, a world that should remain unseen, guarded, and impenetrable. When someone steps through your doorway, they are not just passing time with you. They are studying you. They are absorbing the small details you never intended to reveal. They observe your habits, your routines, your rhythms, your strengths, and more importantly, your weaknesses. And what Machiavelli understood centuries ago still holds true today. The moment another person gains insight into your vulnerabilities, the balance of power shifts. Not dramatically, not violently, but quietly, invisibly, and permanently. People think weakness is something obvious, like fear or insecurity. But weaknesses come in many forms: a cluttered room, a broken appliance you haven't fixed yet, a financial stress accidentally revealed in a slip of conversation, a relationship problem showing in the tension of your voice, a sleeping schedule that seems irregular, a moment of fatigue, a small display of carelessness. These details may seem insignificant to you, but to an observant visitor, they are revelations. They are clues to your inner life. They paint a portrait of who you are when the world isn't watching. And every portrait, no matter how flawed or incomplete, gives someone an advantage. Human beings cannot resist the temptation to analyze one another. Every visitor who enters your domain will leave with a mental map of your vulnerabilities. Some will notice them passively. Some will notice them strategically. But all will notice them. You may think people come to relax, to socialize, to spend time. But beneath the surface, every person is collecting information because humans are wired to do so. And not all information is harmless. Not all observations are innocent. People talk. People judge. People compare. The visitor sees where you live, how you maintain your space, what you prioritize, what you ignore. They notice the level of discipline you hold in private. They see the cracks, the inconsistencies, the truths you never reveal outside. Even if they say nothing, their perception of you shifts. You are no longer the person they imagined. You are no longer the confident, controlled, composed individual they see outside. They now have access to the unfiltered version of you, and that version is always more vulnerable, more flawed, more exposed. Machiavelli warned rulers about one thing more than anything else: never allow others to see your moments of weakness. Power is constructed through image. Authority is maintained through perception. Reputation is shaped by what people believe, not by what is true. And nothing destroys your perceived power faster than allowing others to see the parts of your life that are unfinished, imperfect, or unguarded. When visitors enter your private space, what they see cannot be unseen. What they learn cannot be unlearned, and what they interpret cannot be controlled. Even a loyal friend may unconsciously alter the way they treat you after witnessing a weakness. Respect erodes slowly, subtly, silently. They begin to speak to you differently. They begin to offer advice you never asked for. They begin to believe they understand you more than they actually do. Familiarity invites assumptions, and assumptions invite misjudgments, and misjudgments invite disrespect. Your home is the one place where your guard naturally drops, where your real self emerges, where your defenses rest. But when someone walks into that environment, they witness you without armor. They witness your humanity, and humanity is the opposite of power. You cannot fully command the respect of those who have seen the parts of you that struggle, the parts that fail, the parts that are vulnerable. And the more they see, the more their perception adjusts. The greatest strategic mistake is believing that because someone is a friend or relative, they pose no threat. Threat does not always mean danger. Threat can mean influence. Threat can mean perception. Threat can mean knowledge. and knowledge is the most dangerous form of power in the hands of others. You may not be at war with these people, but the information they carry can weaken your position in ways you cannot predict. Even unintentional exposure can have long-term consequences. A visitor might expose details about your life to others without malice, simply through conversation. They may reveal something you did not want shared. They may describe your home, your routine, your struggles, your environment. They may speak casually, not realizing that they are compromising your image, your privacy, your strategic advantage. But the damage is done. Information travels faster than intentions, and once released, it cannot be controlled. Visitors also study your emotional state. They see when you are irritated, stressed, tired, distracted. They notice whether you are living in harmony or chaos. They pick up on arguments, tensions, insecurities. They learn how stable or unstable your inner world is. People rarely say it out loud, but they make silent judgments with every detail they observe. And these judgments shape their expectations. They shape how they speak to you. They shape how they treat you. They shape how they define you. Every empire falls from the inside before it falls from the outside. Every ruler collapses when their private vulnerabilities become public knowledge. Your home is your internal empire. Once someone steps inside it, they step inside your reality. And no matter how controlled you appear outside, a single moment of unguarded behavior inside can redefine you in the eyes of those who witnessed it. When someone enters your home, they do not simply cross a threshold. They cross into your sphere of control. And the moment another person steps into your environment, the balance of power within that environment shifts. You may not feel it immediately, but the shift is subtle, psychological, and deeply real. A home is a kingdom, even if small, and every king, every strategist, every powerful individual must understand this truth. The presence of visitors destabilizes the command you hold over your space, your energy, and your routine. Whether the visitor comes with good intentions or not, they introduce variables you cannot fully manage, and every variable steals a fraction of your control. Your space is built around your rhythm. You wake, work, rest, and think according to patterns that strengthen your discipline. But a visitor brings their own rhythm, their own expectations, their own pace of life. Suddenly, your day no longer belongs to you. The conversations shift your focus. The small obligations pull you away from your priorities. The subtle pressure to entertain reshapes your behavior. Even the simple act of adjusting your tone, adjusting your posture, or adjusting your environment to make someone else comfortable is a form of surrender. It is a small surrender, but every surrender weakens authority. Machiavelli often warned rulers about the dangers of accommodating others too freely, because accommodation builds dependence, and dependence builds resentment. When someone enters your space, you become responsible for their comfort, even if only slightly. You feel obligated to host them, to respond to their presence, to offer attention, to answer questions, to explain things, to entertain. You become reactive, and a reactive person is always weaker than one who dictates the terms of interaction. By simply being near you, a visitor shifts your mental state from proactive to responsive, and that shift alone reduces your power. People carry emotions into your environment: stress, jealousy, curiosity, boredom, insecurity, or even unspoken expectations. They bring the psychological weather of their own life into yours, and if you are not careful, their emotional atmosphere will override your own. A calm room can become tense. A focused environment can become scattered. A disciplined space can become chaotic. You're no longer operating under your own conditions. You're adjusting to theirs. This is how control slips, not through dramatic events, but through tiny emotional disruptions that accumulate quietly. visitors also interrupt the invisible architecture of your mind. The solitude you cultivate, the thoughts you organize, the ideas forming silently, all of them become fragmented when someone else occupies your space. Creativity collapses, focus dissolves, your inner voice becomes muted because another voice is speaking near you. Your concentration shifts from self-development to social interaction, even if you don't want it to. And the more often this happens, the weaker your inner discipline becomes. A man who cannot protect his mental environment eventually loses command over his outer environment as well. There is another danger that is even more subtle. When guests regularly enter your home, they begin to assert influence. Not openly, not forcefully, but through presence itself. They sit where they want. They comment on things, they ask questions, they compare, judge, and suggest. In those moments, without realizing it, they begin shaping your space. They inject their preferences, their ideas, their perspectives. Slowly, your environment becomes less yours. You lose the sovereignty that comes from being the sole architect of your atmosphere. And once your environment bends to others, your authority bends with it. A visitor's influence doesn't always end when they leave. Their voice lingers. Their comments echo. Their energy stays embedded in the walls, in the furniture, in your memory. You find yourself thinking about what they said, replaying their judgments, analyzing their reactions. You begin altering your behavior based on their presence, even after they are gone. This is how power erodes, not by force, but by internalizing someone else's expectations. Even silence changes when a visitor is present. Silence is your strongest tool. It sharpens thought, strengthens discipline, and protects your inner strategy. But the moment another person shares your space, silence becomes shared silence, and shared silence is never fully yours. You cannot strategize deeply when someone else can observe your stillness or interpret your expressions. Visitors limit your ability to disappear into your mind. They obstruct the very process that builds power. Control is not loud. Control is not forceful. Control is the ability to move, think, plan, and act without interference. And interference doesn't always come in the form of conflict. It comes in the form of presence. A single person sitting in your living room is enough to derail an entire day's worth of clarity. A brief conversation can shift your mood. A single opinion can alter the direction of your thinking. A single distraction can break the flow of your productivity. And once the flow breaks, rebuilding it takes far more effort than maintaining it. This is why the most powerful individuals protect their environment fiercely. They understand that every visitor, no matter how kind or harmless, disturbs the natural order of their private world. Your space is where your mind evolves, where your discipline is built, where your identity strengthens. To allow constant visitors is to allow constant disruption, and constant disruption is the enemy of control. Familiarity is one of the most underestimated forces in human behavior, yet it has the power to destroy respect faster than any argument, any conflict, or any mistake. When someone sees you too often, especially in your private space, their mind begins to adjust. Their imagination quiets, their curiosity fades, their sense of mystery dissolves, and once mystery dissolves, authority dissolves with it. What people cannot completely understand, they respect. What they fully see, they grow accustomed to. And what they grow accustomed to, they stop valuing. This is why having visitors is far more dangerous than it appears. Every time someone enters your home, every time they observe you up close, they become more familiar with the version of you that exists behind closed doors. And that familiarity diminishes the aura that gives you psychological power. People admire what they cannot reach. People respect what they do not fully know. This is why the greatest leaders, thinkers, and strategists in history maintained a deliberate distance between themselves and the public. Machiavelli understood that once the veil is lifted, once the curtain is pulled back, and once a person is seen too clearly, their image loses its sharpness. People begin to see flaws. They begin to see human imperfections. They begin to notice small habits, small mistakes, small vulnerabilities. And once they see you as ordinary, you can never again influence them as extraordinary. Visitors gradually strip you of the image you project to the world. Outside your home, you carry yourself with intention. You speak with purpose. You choose your words carefully. You present the strongest, calmest, most disciplined version of yourself. But inside your home, you naturally relax. Your posture softens, your guard drops. You display micro-expressions you don't control. You speak more casually. You behave more naturally. The curated version of you fades, and the real version appears. There is nothing wrong with being real, but there is everything wrong with being too real in front of people who should only see the controlled version of you. Familiarity changes how a person evaluates you. What once impressed them becomes normal. What once made them curious becomes expected. What once earned their admiration becomes routine. When people see you too often, they recalibrate. They no longer hold you in the same psychological position. They stop seeing you as someone above their level, beyond their understanding, or outside their daily reach. They place you emotionally closer to themselves. And when someone feels emotionally close to you, respect naturally declines, even if they do not intend for it to happen. It's human nature. Scarcity increases value. Abundance reduces it. Visitors also witness your habits in their unguarded form. They notice how you walk around your house, how you interact with your environment, how you react to small inconveniences. They see your mood on days when you are tired or irritated. They see your face when you believe no one is watching. And these small glimpses accumulate in their mind. Over time, the image of you becomes ordinary, predictable, familiar. The spark of intrigue disappears. They feel like they know you, even if they truly don't. And people never admire what they think they fully know. Once familiarity sets in, people begin to speak to you differently. They become more casual. They interrupt more. They offer unsolicited opinions. They test boundaries. They make personal comments they would never dare say in a more formal setting. They challenge you more directly. They feel entitled to your time, your attention, your energy. This shift does not happen overnight. It begins subtly, almost invisibly. But with each visit, their tone adjusts. Their behavior shifts. Their sense of limitation weakens. They start forgetting the psychological distance that once made them respect you. Even subtle disrespect grows from familiarity. A guest may place their feet on your table, walk into rooms without asking, criticize your choices, or question your routines. They may not mean harm, but the effect is the same. They are treating your domain as if it were theirs. They are treating you as if you were equal, not elevated. This is what Machiavelli warned against, allowing people to step too close to your throne. Once they stand too close, they forget the height of the throne. Once they grow familiar, they forget the power of the ruler. The decline of respect is not always visible. It happens quietly, like erosion. A small comment here, a casual tone there, a boundary being pushed slightly more each time, a shift in posture, a change in tone, a new level of comfort that should not exist. Familiarity gradually removes the invisible barriers that preserved your authority. And once those barriers disappear, you cannot rebuild them easily. Distance is easy to lose, but extremely difficult to regain. Once someone has seen your private world, once they have felt at home in your presence, they can no longer return to the position of respectful distance they once held. And the more frequently someone visits, the faster this process unfolds. Each visit lowers the pedestal a little more. Each conversation reveals more of your personality. Each moment of unfiltered behavior reduces the aura you carry outside. It is impossible to maintain the same level of mystique when people have access to the full spectrum of your moods, habits, frustrations, and imperfections. They experience too much of you. And when someone experiences too much of you, they stop valuing the experience. This is why powerful individuals protect their time and environment with a seriousness others don't understand. They know that their influence does not come from being accessible. It comes from being selective. It comes from being seen rarely but impactfully. It comes from maintaining a presence that is respected precisely because it's not overexposed. Visitors dilute that presence. They soften your edges. They make you seem ordinary. And nothing kills respect faster than being seen as ordinary by people who once viewed you with admiration, distance, or awe. Privacy is not just a preference. It is the soil where power grows, the shield that protects your inner world, and the silent force that allows you to build a life that others cannot predict or interfere with. When you allow visitors into your space, even with the purest intentions, you allow interruptions to the very foundation of that privacy. Your home, your room, your personal world, they are more than physical structures. They are psychological sanctuaries. They protect your thoughts, your routines, your ambitions, and your emotional balance. Without that protection, your power slowly deteriorates, not in obvious explosions, but in quiet, invisible fragments. True strength begins in solitude. This is something Machiavelli understood deeply. Every decision, every strategy, every transformation requires a period of isolation where your mind can roam freely, without influence, without noise, without eyes watching. But when visitors come into your environment, they enter the silence that shapes your identity. They disrupt the mental territory where ideas form, where discipline is sharpened, where your future is built. Privacy is where your mind meets itself, and every disruption in that meeting weakens your trajectory. Without privacy, your goals become harder to pursue. Visitors ask questions. They want to know what you're working on, why you're quiet, why you're focused, why you're distant. Even if they don't say anything, their presence forces you to accommodate their energy. You cannot strategize while being observed. You cannot evolve while being watched. Growth demands space. Space to think, to plan, to fail, to rebuild. When someone else steps into that space, even for a short moment, they interrupt the invisible work happening inside you. They pull you out of your internal world and anchor you to theirs, even if unintentionally. Privacy is also where discipline is cultivated. When you live alone in your thoughts, you create routines that serve your ambitions. You control your time, your environment, your focus. But visitors reshape your internal rhythm. They bring conversations that have nothing to do with your purpose. They introduce topics that derail your thinking. They influence your emotions in subtle ways. And when your emotions shift, so does your discipline. The mind is delicate, and even a small interaction can alter your focus for hours. That single interruption steals progress. It steals direction. It steals your momentum. The greatest danger, however, is not the distraction visitors cause. It is the exposure they create. Privacy protects your weaknesses, your doubts, your vulnerabilities. It allows you to work on them in silence. But when someone enters your home, they see the parts of your life you are still building. They see the incomplete chapters. They see your humanity. And every piece of information they collect becomes a tool they can use, consciously or unconsciously. Even a friend who means no harm can carry a truth about you that you never intended anyone to know. Once your private world is exposed, you cannot take it back. And when others know too much, your power fades. Privacy is also essential for emotional stability. Solitude gives you the ability to process your feelings, to understand your own reactions, to center yourself after stress. Visitors bring their own emotional storms into your environment. They talk about their problems. They express their frustrations. They spread their anxieties. These emotions linger in your space long after they leave. Their energy settles into your walls, your furniture, your mind. And if you do not protect your environment, you begin living within their emotional residue instead of your own. Your inner peace becomes polluted. Your thoughts become influenced by someone else's chaos. People underestimate how much emotional interference affects their long-term power. To remain steady, disciplined, and strong, your mind needs stillness. It needs silence. It needs the ability to breathe without interruption. Visitors disturb that silence. They break the mental structure you work so hard to maintain. They take attention away from your evolution and redirect it towards social performance. You find yourself adjusting your behavior, adjusting your tone, adjusting your energy to fit the visitor's presence. This is a subtle form of self-betrayal, because you sacrifice who you are in private to maintain harmony with the one who entered your space. Privacy also protects your ambitions. The dreams you hold are fragile in their early stages. They can be influenced, doubted, questioned, or mocked by others. And when someone enters your environment and sees the early stages of your work, they may comment on it, intentionally or unintentionally. A single remark can weaken your confidence. A raised eyebrow can plant doubt. A careless opinion can sabotage months of thought. Visitors bring doubt into your temple of focus. They give their opinions weight, even when they do not deserve it. And when doubt enters your private world, it robs you of the force that drives ambition forward. The more people access your privacy, the more your identity becomes shaped by external forces rather than your own inner voice. Visitors blur the lines between who you truly are and who you become in their presence. They influence your decisions, your routines, your moods, your priorities. Over time, you stop living entirely for yourself. You start modifying your world for others, and that modification slowly kills your power because true power demands independence of mind. Protecting your privacy is not selfish. It is strategic. It is the act of preserving the internal world where your strength is built. Because once that world is compromised, everything built inside it becomes unstable. In the end, the greatest danger of visitors is not what they do, but what they quietly erase. They erode your mystery through familiarity. They weaken your discipline through disruption. They dilute your authority by seeing too much of the unguarded version of you. And they damage your privacy by entering the very space where your mind, your ambitions, and your strategies should remain untouched. When someone crosses into your personal world, they cross into your power source, and no ruler, no strategist, no individual seeking strength can afford to let others walk freely through the place where their identity is being forged. Every moment of solitude you protect becomes an investment in your future. Every boundary you enforce becomes a reinforcement of your authority. Every instance where you choose privacy over unnecessary company strengthens the version of you that the world sees. Visitors may come with good intentions, but intentions do not change the truth. Your home is your fortress, and fortresses are not meant to be open to everyone. Guard your environment, guard your time, guard your inner world, because the person who protects their space protects their power, and the one who guards their privacy controls their destiny.